This clip is brought to you by SaveWithConrad.com. His first match we mentioned, July 15th, 1995. It's Houston, Texas. Any chance you were at that show? I mean, by 95, you're living in Connecticut, right?
Yeah, but I believe that it was a television taping as best I can remember.
I thought it was a house show, but you could be right.
I could be wrong too.
We're in the run.
Not that that's ever happened.
I want to add context to this again. It's July of 95. So we're not too far removed from the debut of Monday Nitro. When the announcement is first made that, hey, WCW is going live on Monday nights. And of course we don't know exactly what all they have in store, but we just know, hey, they're trying to go head to head. Is it important for you to try to create new? It feels like a lot of times whenever we talk with JR or yourself, you always sort of gravitate back to wrestling fans want new. And
yeah, I would say that was the case no matter what.
Yeah. But does the search come on like, okay, we know they got Savage. We know they got Hogan. At that point, you don't know Luger's out, but still, does somebody somewhere say, God damn, we need to start getting some fresh faces in here just in case?
I think that first of all, that's probably always the case. It's a matter of, you ride that line of, is talent ready and or not, and where's that new going to come from? When you look at everything that was available at the time and you look at just fresh talent, and not even necessarily new, but fresh and different. Ahmed was fresh and different. Ahmed had just an animal magnetism about him that made him unique and stand out in the crowd. He was real, man. When Ahmed came in, you felt him come in.
When he walks through the curtain, he looks and presents like he's a star, right?
People look, yes. He could come out as No Name Smith, and people go, fuck, look at that. Look at old No Name. And he would grab people's attention on his presence alone.
Who do you think he credits with that? Like sort of harnessing the intangible the way to captivate a crowd just when you just bust through the curtain. I mean, I'm not saying that to be funny, but did Putski teach him that? Did Skandar teach him that? Did Casey teach him that? I'm not seeing a lot of like, oh, well, that guy, obviously. Or is it just something that was within him, you think?
His mom and dad probably gave it to him, because when you look at everything else, Putski was an intense guy. Putski knew how to make an impression and come out big. And you look at the people that trained him. But what Ahmed had was that it factor that you can't just put your finger on and say, hey, he's got that. Yes, he has charisma. Yes, he has size. Yes, he has look. He has intensity, and everything about it, came together with him. I don't know that what Ahmed had that was special was something that was necessarily taught to him.
So he debuts originally as Ahmed Williams in a dark match after the In Your House #3 in Saginaw, Michigan. If you're keeping score at home, this is the pay-per-view where Diesel and Shawn win the tag titles from Davey, Yoko, and Owen. We recently talked about that on our Diesel episodes. Anyway,
I don't remember that episode.
Ahmed debuts and defeats Skip, Chris Candido, and Meltzer said there was a messed up finish. Any insight into the name change from Williams to Johnson?
I don't even remember that we ever even called him Williams. So there you go. I think that, you go back and you go through and try different things. And it's funny when you get used to something. I'm so used to Ahmed Johnson that I couldn't even, like, Ahmed Williams just doesn't even fit.
Yeah. It seems
you know
weird.
what I'm saying?
Yeah, seems weird.
Yeah. It's like Ahmed Johnson. It's powerful. It felt big.
He's going to do a tour of Big Japan. So Big Japan Pro Wrestling was a thing back in the day. And he even winds up in Memphis working for the USWA.
Was there Little Japan?
No, not that I know of.
Oh, okay.
I know there's a New Japan, but I don't think there was an Old Japan either.
There was All Japan,
but there wasn't a Some Japan. You see, it's like, It's all or nothing, and it's new or nothing, and it's big or nothing. But I see what you're saying. Perhaps we should have a little Japan and an old Japan and maybe a some Japan.
But we didn't.
We didn't.
This is confusing.
It is. Let's talk about this though. The future John Bradshaw Layfield is even going to be working with Ahmed, the USWA. They're going to feud over the NWA North American Heavyweight title. It's an interesting time in wrestling. This is sort of predating social media and YouTube. Does he get his first big break with the World Wrestling Federation through his matches in the USWA? Does he send in a tape? How do you recall Ahmed first getting a look? In
Michael Hayes bringing him to us and saying, you got to take a look at this guy. He's got a ton of potential. And it was pretty much on Michael's recommendation to bring Ahmed in and take a look at him.
So how does that work when you say bring him in and take a look at him? We're just going to set him up and work a dark match before a Raw or something like that?
Yeah, back in the day, you would contact talent. You would try to look at whatever tape, whatever is available on talent at the time. We didn't have a big internet thing that you could just go online and find tapes of people and find their work. So you relied on videotape. You relied on people sending you things. In this case, we had seen some tape on him, but we're going off of Michael's recommendation, brought him into a TV taping. I don't remember where. And said, come on in, man. Let's take a look at you.
Best I can see, he made his first appearance on July 15th, 1995. It's a house show in Houston, Texas. And he's wrestling
That's probably why, because that's where he lived.
He's wrestling under his real name, Tony Norris, against Rico Suave. And once he's signed, he's going to become Ahmed Johnson, and he makes his pre-television debut at In Your House 3, September 24th, 1995. His televised debut is October 23rd, 95. So once he gets a look, he's moving up fairly quickly, but we'll circle back to that. First, I want to bring this up. He's done interviews where he said when he first talked to you guys, he lied about his age and the miles he had on his body. At the time, he would have been, I think, freshly turned 32 32 years old. Do you remember him representing himself as a younger man? The only other time I heard that story was the old Boogeyman story, and that jumped off the page when I saw that maybe Ahmed had done the same stunt.
No, I had never heard that story. Now, he might have lied to JJ or somebody like that, but to my knowledge, it was never brought up.
So we should also add context to when he's coming into the WWF. Bill Watts is here for, I guess what we could call in hindsight, a cup of coffee. But Jim Ross wrote in his book that when Bill gets his hands on Tony Norris, he wants to call him Buck Johnson. And JR remembers rolling his eyes thinking, oh God, please no. Do you remember that even being considered, Buck Johnson, as a name for Ahmed Johnson?
I do not.
Hey, it's Conrad Thompson. Thanks for checking out the podcast here on YouTube. Be sure to hit the subscribe button and the notifications bell so you get a notice anytime we upload some new content. And go save yourself some money right now. If you're in a 30-year loan or you have credit card debt, it's not a matter of if I can save you money. It's a matter of how much. Find out right now for free at SaveWithConrad.com.